Welcome. In front of me is a HUAWEI MatePad Pro, and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick look at this device from HUAWEI. So anyway, let's just pop it open without wasting any time. And while I'm doing so, I'm going to quickly mention that this device was released at the end of 2023, so I might be a little bit late to it, a couple months. Let's see what we get in the box anyway. Now, the packaging seems to be pretty premium. It looks nice. Go. Now, in here we get the typical app gallery, pedal search, and tablet clone or phone clone for all your kind of Google needs or substitution to it. Now, one thing that I want to point out, which is pretty neat for people that might not know, because this is running Harmony OS, if I remember correctly. Yep, Harmony OS. You won't probably have access to all the applications that you might find on Google Play Store. So what you can do is, if you have a device that has a Google Play Store, is download it on that device, and then using phone clone, you can just transfer over that application to this tablet. And it should work, as long as it doesn't have some kind of securities like bank applications would. At that point, bank apps, I don't think will function. But if you download them, obviously, through the app gallery, they should function. Anyway, I'm going to set this to the side for the time being. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Next, we have a charger, Type A to Type C, so nothing really special. And a HUAWEI supercharger, and this is... you can actually see this. What is this? Oh, there we go. It's actually at the top. So this is an 88-watt charger. And actually, interestingly enough, it has the option to use Type C and Type A as a charging. So that is actually a pretty nice charger. Comes provided and has options. Wow, Samsung should really take notes here. And it looks like it's everything that is in the box. Now moving on to the tablet itself, let's pop it open. That's a really thin tablet, I do want to point that out. With really small bezels, wow. Let's turn it on. Come on. Is it not charged? Oh, there we go. So, talking about the display, which will be obviously the thing that you're gonna... okay. That was pretty freaking loud. Pretty loud, but I do have to say the speakers here sound pretty nice. I assume they did it deliberately to kind of emphasize how the device sounds, and it does have some decent oomph to the actual sound. And considering this device is really thin, that's actually pretty decent sound right here. Now, the display right here is an OLED display with 1 billion colors, 144 Hz refresh rate, and a peak brightness of 1000 nits. It is also a 13.2-inch device, as the name would suggest, running a resolution of 2880 by 1920. And boasts an 91.5% screen to body ratio with pixel density of 262 pixels per inch. So with that being said, the display right here is pretty nice. Now moving on into the cameras, I'm gonna lock it for now. Start off with the back ones. We have a dual camera setup right here. So the main sensor is a 13 megapixel wide sensor, and then we got a 8 megapixel ultra wide. Now with these cameras, you can record videos at 4K 30 frames or 1080p 30 frames. Something really amazing right here. And then at the front, in that notch, which we for some reason have right here, I honestly don't like that. We do have pretty small bezels, but honestly I would prefer to have a thicker top bezel rather than have a disgusting ass notch on there. Copy this straight from Apple. Just because Apple is doing this doesn't mean that it's good. It's still dog shit. It's as dog shit as it was when it first came out. And yes, I would know because I am still using a Mate 20 Pro right now, which has a notch just way bigger. And I still hate it. That disgusting notch, which honestly doesn't really have much reason to be there. I mean, it does have some sensors outside of just the camera. Houses a 16 megapixel camera. Then besides that, we have a time of flight 3D depth sensor, and with those single camera, you can record videos at 1080p 30 frames. So there we go. And moving into the internals, this device has a 10,100 mAh battery, which is actually surprising considering it is a very thin device. As you can see, I'm gonna compare it to my phone, which I think actually is thicker than this. Yep, it's most certainly thicker. So if I move the light just so it kind of hits from both sides, there we go. You can see that it does have a difference there in thickness. So even something like my phone, which is relatively average thickness, doesn't really compare to this. So this is like a sheet of basically glass. And yeah, it still managed to have a over 10,000 mAh battery. Now additionally, this device is being powered by a Kirin 9000S and comes with 12 or 16 gigs of RAM with 256 gigs of storage as a base entry. And if you want to have that 16 gigs, you then get a terabyte of storage. You also have the middle option, which is 512 gigs of storage with 12 gigs of RAM. And all these options come with UFS 3.1 storage type. Now, last thing to mention is this device is obviously running Harmony OS, more exactly Harmony OS 4.0, and because of that you don't get Google Play services. So if you use something like Gmail quite a lot or rely on a bunch of things like the Google Cloud Storage or anything associated with Google, you won't have access to it on this device. Previously there were some ways around it where people just kind of like sideload Google Play services or allow you to download an application which would be running Google Play service inside of that specific application, but I haven't checked out any kind of ways around this in recent timing. That was like when Harmony OS was relatively new, so I don't even know if these kind of methods still work. So obviously for people that rely on Google, this might be a massive drawdown, and another massive drawdown is the price tag of this device, which is about 1,000 euros. So that is not a cheap device, and I'm gonna actually just make sure that this is a correct price, because it is quite a substantial price tag for a device like this. If I can actually find anything about it. Apparently I can't find anything to purchase it right here on Allegro, which is the Polish equivalent of Amazon. Let's see on some other place. So for people that are based in Poland, XCOM offers it for 4,199 PLN, which is a little bit actually below the $1,000 price tag, I think, or a euro price tag. Let's see, euro is 430. So actually, no, it's about basically spot on there. So 1,000 euros converts to 4,315 PLN. So it's just kind of like about $100 or 100 PLN cheaper. Same thing goes for the official Huawei site apparently. So that being said, this device ain't cheap, coming at 1,000 euros, which that being said, it should be somewhere similar in terms of dollars. actually no, never mind, I take that back. It's Huawei, so you don't get to buy this in US, so no point in actually giving you a dollar price tag. So yeah, 1,000 euros for this device is a steep asking price for a device that all it really offers is a notch, a OS that is kind of locked, and relatively small bezels, which honestly will be the most appealing part of this device, being very thin, compact, while giving a decent sized tablet at 13 inches with minuscule bezels. Other than that, the processor in here being the Kirin 9000S, I don't think it compares that well to some other devices at this price tag. So let's look at the Snapdragon 888. So that is a, what is it, 4-year-old processor now. Let's see how that stacks up. And by the looks of it, in terms of, let's just say, I'm pulling this data right now from nanoreview.net, where they have the comparison. So gaming performance, Snapdragon has a 70 versus the Kirin 9000S at 52 rating. CPU performance, Snapdragon 50, Kirin 57. Battery life, Snapdragon 89, Kirin 76. And Nano Review overall score is Snapdragon 66 versus the Kirin at 59. So in general, the Snapdragon looks to be better offering for a device over the Kirin 9000S. And that being said, this device was released in 2023 at the end of it, so very close to 2024. More precisely, September 25th of 2023. And they are offering a processor for 1,000 euros. That is equivalent to a Snapdragon 888 that came out exactly, well, about like 4 years ago, if I remember correctly. Let's see if I can quickly find this. December 1st of 2020. So 3 years ago, with a couple months. So this is already a dated processor that has been succeeded by Snapdragon Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 2 Plus, I think, and now Gen 3. So we have 4 processors that have already come out, well, more precisely 3, that basically replaced the Snapdragon, which this device loses against. Now, the reason this is happening, just to kind of give you a little bit of an overview, is because Huawei has a hard time getting to better processors like Snapdragons, just because they can't really trade with US. So all they're really doing is rehashing silicon that they had purchased before they were banned, as far as I'm aware. And because of that, you're kind of left with a device that looks nice, because let's be honest, it does look nice. It seems a bit more premium, but the specifications of it just fall apart just because they can't get anything newer. So they're dealing with what they have, and what they have is not worth 1,000 effing euros. So if you compare to any other tablet, for 1,000 euros you can get a Samsung tablet, like the Tab S, S9, I think. And it might not have such a small bezels all around, but it will be more powerful than this, and most likely give you just a better user experience over the Huawei. And it kind of brings me back to what I would usually say, is that Huawei is still trying to sell their devices at a price tag that that would have been reasonable if they still had Google Play services and weren't trying to do sketchy shit like sell your data or just spy on you, because that's kind of why they got banned. And back then, in their prime, I would probably justify this, because at this point, if they were in the prime, not banned, they would probably be offering this device with a Snapdragon at least 8 Gen 2. So at that point, that would have been a much better device with a more reasonable price tag for it, if they still stuck with the $1,000 price. At this point, you're kind of buying a, specification-wise, a device that is outdated for a price tag that isn't even equivalent to what you're getting. And you might as well just go with Samsung at that point. Now, with that being said, hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you did, don't forget to smash like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.